These are 8 times where Tom Aspinall went into complete beast mode.
I think Tom Aspinall is the best.
I think Tom Aspinall has world champion written all over him.
He is special. He is absolutely, positively special.
With 8 wins in the UFC, as many finishes and just 18 minutes spent inside the cage, Tom Aspinall has destroyed every single opponent he has faced thanks to his next level speed, striking and grappling skills. The man is an absolute beast, and that is exactly why many think that Jon Jones is scared of fighting him.
Tom's been such an asshole that I don't want to do business with him.
Tom Aspinall entered the UFC heavyweight Shark Tank in 2020, and he made an instant impact in his debut by dispatching Jake Collier in just 45 seconds. Aspinall instantly put the division on notice, warning his peers against making even a single mistake against him.
I'm a dangerous striker, so anytime you're going to be sloppy and stuff like that with me, you're going to get caught and it's going to be over.
Despite not having a shiny, undefeated record and being 8-2, Aspinall knew he was way more dangerous than what his record suggested, and he reiterated that heading into his second UFC fight, which came against short-notice opponent Alan Baudo.
I'm always dangerous, mate. I've got some serious power in my hands, so I can knock anyone out at any time.
While his debut displayed his great boxing skills, the fight against Alan Baudo proved how well-rounded Aspinall was, as he took Baudo down and pounded his way to victory in under 2 minutes. Despite a near-flawless performance, Aspinall thought he could have done more.
I couldn't really find my range on him properly at first, so I think that's why I couldn't really get in a rhythm, which is why I was making little mistakes, but I got the win, so I can't complain.
Even though Aspinall wanted to climb the rankings by fighting prospects like himself, the UFC had bigger plans as they didn't want to waste him on unknown names, so they threw him in with former champ Andrei Arlovski, and that's when everyone started to see just how good Aspinall really was. Heading into the fight, Aspinall was brimming with confidence, promising that Arlovski literally wouldn't see what was coming.
The speed is definitely my advantage against any heavyweight. I'm just in a different, I move at a different speed to anyone else of my weight, so that's always going to be an advantage for me, is going to be my speed.
Though he was confident in his ability to get the job done, Aspinall still showed respect towards the former champion.
He's beaten me on both experience and grey hairs, so maybe I might have a few coming through, but I'm alright.
Aspinall did exactly what he promised. He stepped into the octagon and took apart the former UFC heavyweight champion, submitting him in less than 2 rounds. After the win, Aspinall was humble enough to admit that he was starstruck for a small while.
When he first came in the cage, he was looking across from me, and I actually had a little giggle to myself. I did it yesterday at the weigh-ins because I just thought, oh man, this is fucking cool. And yeah, but as soon as you start going, it's not really much difference. It wasn't Arlovski himself, it's just the fact that he's got so much experience that felt different. He was doing different stuff.
In his 4th UFC fight, Aspinall stepped in against what many saw as his biggest challenge so far. But like everyone else so far, this was going to be a walk in the park. Just like Aspinall, Sergey Spivak was already a respected prospect with wins over Tai Tuivasa and Alexei Oleinik, but he knew Aspinall had weapons that none of his past opponents could match.
Yeah, I consider him as a pretty strong, tough opponent. He has certain strength, power, explosiveness, and he's completing fights. So yeah, I consider him as a serious opponent for me.
Aspinall had nothing but nice things to say about his opponents too.
I actually think he's very good. He might not have the most attractive style ever, but what he does is he does well, so...
The clash between the 2 rising stars turned out to be completely one-sided, with Aspinall avoiding Spivak's wrestling and putting on a show with his fast hands and sharp boxing, knocking Spivak out in half a round. Even Aspinall was surprised by how quickly it all ended.
It wasn't what I expected, to be honest. I expected a long fight because this guy is so durable. I think people don't expect me to hit as hard as I do, but no one can take the hits. No one can take them yet, so yeah, I don't think it's so much the power, I think it's more the speed. They don't see them, so yeah, I think people don't expect it for sure.
Thanks to his quick finishes, Aspinall picked up his third $50,000 bonus in just 4 fights, and the money was clearly life-changing for him.
Hey Tom, you got performance of the night.
I did! Tom, are you aware that you won the 50 grand bonus?
I am, and I just cried. And I think it's on camera, so... get the views up on that. Make sure you share
Do
it.
it again
No,
so we can
man,
get it, please.
honestly, for anyone who doesn't know, I've got a missus, I've got 3 small kids, and I'm just trying to buy a house, man. Like, I'm just a normal guy. I'm just trying to get by in this world and look after my children and look after my family. I need that money just as much as anybody else, and man, it's like a dream. I appreciate it so much.
With the massive performances Aspinall was putting on, big $1 million paydays seemed just around the corner, and his next performance against top contender Alexander Volkov further proved that Aspinall was destined for GOAT status. With only 4 wins to his name, Aspinall landed his first UFC headliner at UFC London in March 2022, facing Alexander Volkov, who was confident that his experience would be the deciding factor in the matchup.
From my side, I really think that experience, and I showed a lot of fights and the performances in the UFC. He didn't have many fights that last for long enough. So we will see how he will be fighting against one of the best.
Aspinall wasn't fazed by his relative lack of experience, as he knew his skills were sharp enough to take down anyone in his path.
A lot of these heavyweights and people who watch this sport and stuff, they think that I'm just good at certain things. And it's not that I'm just good at certain things, I've just not had the opportunity to show what I am good at because I've been in the octagon for such a small amount of time.
That being said, Aspinall completely understood the magnitude of this assignment.
Biggest test of my career, by far. I'm completely aware of that.
Aspinall aced the test, taking Volkov down with ease, smothering him, and locking up an armbar to seal the biggest win of his career in under 4 minutes.
It couldn't have gone any better. That was the ideal performance. I truly thought I was going to go 5 rounds, to get a guy like Volkov, who has been finished twice in 45 fights, out there in the first round. Just shows credit to my finish ability. My finishing ability is highest of the high level.
With 5 UFC wins, 5 finishes, and barely over 10 minutes of total cage time, Aspinall was heading towards heavyweight glory until a brutal knee injury against Curtis Blades hit the brakes on his momentum and ruined his undefeated UFC record. The year he spent recovering on the sidelines was anything but easy.
This was actually one of the most depressing moments for me. In the whole thing, this was one of the most depressing moments. Was I got the surgery, and for like a week, I was basically unable to walk. I was unable to move on my own, really.
Knee injuries are tough to bounce back from, and plenty of people doubted if Aspinall could return to the top. But some people are destined for greatness, and Aspinall proved exactly that when he returned against Machine Tybura. Heading into the fight, Tybura was riding high with 7 wins in his last 8 fights and was full of confidence.
There's lots of stuff that I built up. I skilled up. There's, I was jiu-jitsu fighter before. Right now, I don't feel like there is a dominant in my game. I think like I'm well-rounded and fully prepared. I'm a mixed martial artist.
Even though Tybura was confident, he knew exactly how dangerous Aspinall could be.
Would you think of Tom or rank Tom as your toughest opponent to date or not?
Absolutely, yeah. I no doubts he's my toughest opponent in my career.
Aspinall wasn't taking Tybura lightly either.
I don't understand why people are counting him out because he's won 7 of his last 8 in the rankings as a heavyweight. That's a pretty good record, mate, if you ask me. And he's very durable. He doesn't quit, which is pretty rare for a heavyweight. Usually when heavyweights start to get a little bit tired, they start to look for a way out, and he definitely doesn't. He's got loads and loads of experience, and I've took him extremely, extremely seriously.
On fight night, Aspinall went into complete beast mode as he rocked Tybura with a brutal elbow just over a minute in, and then sealed the deal with a follow-up shot, finishing the fight in just 73 seconds. Knowing that he was now within touching distance of a title shot, Aspinall called out champ Jon Jones.
I'm going to beat Jon Jones.
Aspinall's bold claim drew a sarcastic response from Jones, but even that was a win for the rising British heavyweight.
What did you make of Jones responding to your call out so quick as well?
Jon Jones knows I exist. Woohoo! That's a win in itself. I'm buzzing with that.
The hype surrounding Aspinall at this point was so wild that even a former champ believed he'd steamroll the GOAT.
Jon Jones is the heavyweight champion. He's an incredible fighter. You know, he's incredible. He's one of the greatest of all time. I don't think he can hold a candle to Tom. I think Tom will do the same thing to Jon Jones as what he did to Marcin Tybura. I don't think there's anyone that can stop Tom Aspinall. He's that good, he's that switched on, and he's just a great guy as well.
Even though Aspinall didn't get his dream fight with Jon Jones right away, he got the next big thing, a shot to steal the spotlight by saving a card Jones was supposed to headline, and that's when he cranked things up to a whole new level. Jones, who won the heavyweight title by beating Cyril Gane at UFC 285, was booked for his first title defense against Stipe Miocic at UFC 295, but after Bones pulled out due to injury, the UFC scheduled an interim title fight featuring Aspinall and Russian knockout machine Sergey Pavlovich, who had been ripping through the division's best.
He has a huge reach over Tom Aspinall. It's his 84-inch reach. I mean, that's almost double the size of mine. I mean, the dude has a reach with power and he's technical. This is what makes Sergey Pavlovich.
Pavlovich was stepping into the fight on the back of 6 straight first-round knockouts, so he was oozing with confidence heading into the fight.
To get here, to be at the spot, there was a lot of work and a lot of steps were made to get here. So I think that I know where I'm at, I have a goal, and I'm going for that goal.
Aspinall knew the danger Pavlovich brought to the table, but he was far more confident in his own diverse skill sets than worried about what his opponent could do.
I think that Pavlovich is the most dangerous, to be honest. I think he's the most dangerous guy in the UFC. I think, to be honest, it's the most dangerous situation you can have. Fighting the most dangerous guy in the UFC on 2 weeks' notice, but I'm willing to put it all on the line. Do you know what I mean? This is my absolute dream. And I'm doing a Bisping, aren't I? Bisping took it on 2 weeks' notice. Bisping did it on 2 weeks' notice and won against Rockhold, so why can't I do it?
On fight night, Aspinall wasted no time taking care of Pavlovich, rocking him early with pinpoint punches and sealing the deal with a furious flurry in the first round to claim the interim title. After the biggest win of his career, there was only one name on Aspinall's mind.
Just give me the opportunity, John. Let me do it. Give me my dream fight. Why not? I've just achieved my dream now. Give me my dream fight. Let me fight for my legacy now, please.
With Aspinall clinching the interim title, the MMA world was buzzing, with many fans and analysts pushing for him to face Jon Jones next.
Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall, fucking interesting. Jon Jones is the GOAT, you know what I mean? He's the best of all time. But if anyone's going to give him a fight, it's Tom Aspinall. You know what I mean? He's got the speed, he's got the jiu-jitsu, he's got the power. But I don't think Jones will fight him.
Jones, however, was fully focused on fighting Stipe, and most didn't like that because Stipe was way out of his prime at this point.
Tom is very frustrated with this whole situation. He said to me last week in an interview, if you haven't seen it, check it out. He said Jon Jones should be stripped.
I think Jon Jones should be stripped of the title, to be honest, because everyone else does when they get injured like that.
Okay, and why is Stipe going to fight Jon Jones? He should fight me now. I'm the champion. Now, a lot of people feel different ways about that. I think most people are on the side of Tom Aspinall.
With Jones opting to face heavyweight legend Stipe Miocic instead of unifying the titles with Aspinall, Tom was left with no choice but to defend his interim belt. His challenger was Curtis Blaydes, the only fighter to ever hand him a loss in the UFC, but even as good as Blaydes was, the second time wasn't going to be the charm. As UFC 304 approached, there was a great sense of mutual respect between Aspinall and Blaydes. The challenger even went as far as to acknowledge Aspinall as the true champion, a nod to his undeniable talent and potential.
I know John's gonna hear this like, what? He doesn't view me as the best heavyweight? No, John, I'm sorry. I don't think he's actually all the heavyweight. I'm sorry, I know. So, yeah, I view Aspinall as the guy with the real belt.
Who do you consider to be the best heavyweight in the world right now?
Aspinall, 100%.
Aspinall returned the favour, calling Blaydes the toughest challenge of his career.
I'm fighting Curtis Blaydes, man, and this is a fucking big fight. This is like a massive fight for me, and a tough fight, a very, very stylistically tough fight.
While Aspinall thought it was his hardest career fight, Blaydes turned out to be one of Aspinall's easiest opponents. On fight night, Aspinall dropped Blaydes with a sharp right hand early and then quickly followed up to finish him off in exactly 1 minute into the first round to successfully defend his interim heavyweight title. After securing another massive win, Aspinall made it clear that he only wanted a fight with the winner of Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic.
Is there a chance you fight anyone other than those two, or does it have to be them next?
Like who?
Be the winner of Cyril and maybe Volkov, eh?
Nah, I want to fight Jon Jones. Or Stipe. Let's not discredit Stipe and what he's done. I think a lot of people are looking past him, probably maybe sometimes me, to be honest. But whoever wins that one, I'm fighting next, for sure. Unless they both retire.
Aspinall even proposed a 4-man tournament featuring himself, Jones, Stipe and Alex Pereira, since Jones was also eyeing a fight with Powhatan.
Why don't we do a tournament? We'll do Jon, Stipe, me, Alex, and do a 4-man tournament, 2 fights in 1 night, and let's find out who the real heavyweight champion of the world is.
Despite multiple call-outs, Jones still refused to give Aspinall a positive response, pushing Tom to bring out the worst in him.
Jon was there crossing his fingers and toes tonight hoping that I'd lose to Curtis. Let's not bullshit about it. Like he posted about it loads anyway that I'm going to lose to him.
The pros were now completely backing Aspinall.
I've said before that he could smoke Jon Jones. I said before that Jon Jones couldn't hold a candle or hold a torch to Tom Aspinall. And I respect Jon Jones and I like Jon Jones, and you've got to remember the run that he had and the great achievements that he's had in this incredible sport. But I believe what we saw tonight from Tom Aspinall and what we see every time from Tom Aspinall, I believe that beats anybody.
Despite the growing pressure, Jones remained steadfast in his decision to face Stipe Miocic at UFC 309, refusing to bow to public demand. Instead, Bones took verbal jabs at Aspinall, adding even more heat to their brewing rivalry.
If I'm being completely honest, I feel like Tom's been such an asshole that I don't want to do business with him.
Even after beating Stipe Miocic at UFC 309, Jones refused to acknowledge Aspinall as a worthy contender.
You know what? While I got the moment, while everybody's cheering and so happy, I want to acknowledge Jesus Christ. You know, I know that we have options. And so I'm just going to see what Dr. Dana and Uncle Danny wants, and what Uncle Hunter wants, and you guys will hear about it soon, I'm sure.
That was a curveball. He went Jesus Christ instead of me.
And even in the post-fight press conference, Jones shot down any possibility of fighting Aspinall, saying he wouldn't fight him unless the paycheck was huge.
He's annoying to me, and that's my own personal, he annoys me, and I just don't like him. And at the end of the day, if I give him the opportunity to fight me, I want to be so compensated. I want to say it, I want that f*** you money, honestly.
Jones seemed more interested in fighting Alex Pereira, who was a dominant light heavyweight champion at that time.
I feel like I'm at a place now where, you know, like I want to take what I find to be super fights. I don't want to fight dangerous up-and-comers anymore. I want Pereira.
Jones's hope of facing Pereira were crushed by Magomed Ankalaev, who took down Pereira at UFC 313 and stole his spotlight, which means Jones is left with 2 options: face Aspinall next or retire.
Jon versus Tom Aspinall. This week was a funny one. Someone reported that the fight's done, it's got a date, then the next day someone reported the fight's off, and then Jon's not taking it. Where do we stand with that fight?
Everything you hear is bullshit until we say it.
So that fight is still the target for both men?
I've said it many times that that's the fight that we want to make this year.
Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall would be colossal. On one side, we have the GOAT who's ruled the octagon for years, and on the other, a rising star who has decimated every man he's faced. Will Aspinall tear down the legend, or will Jones prove once again why he's the greatest? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel and check out why UFC fighters are actually scared of Paddy Pimblett.